to God, Sex, and Love. It's your girl, Miracle Sims. And tonight we're going to continue the conversation of Christians and politics, part 3. So if you're ready for this conversation, then stay tuned. Welcome back to God, Sex, and Love. We got the dream team here again for episode number 3 or chat number 3 about this subject, Christians and politics. What's up, Miss Denise? How you doing? Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Then the troublemaker himself. Hello, Neil Newman in the building. What's going on?
Greetings.
And last but not least, Rashawn Kusa, my main guy. Hey, how you doing?
Man? What's up? What's up? I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have all of you all back. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. So, Christians and politics, part 3. How y'all holding up? What's going on y'all's end? How y'all doing?
Praise God.
How you doing? Brothers, y'all all right?
Praise God.
Yeah.
I don't put my faith in politics.
Yes. Oh, Lord. It's so quiet. Y'all all right? What's going on? How y'all
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, everything's good, yo.
Good?
Over here.
Miss
America's being America. Ain't nothing going on.
America's good America. Oh.
Well, the last time we was here, I know we was, we all seen a lot of prophecy saying that Trump was going to be the president, and apparently, this Biden supposedly is in, the chair now. So.
Yeah, no.
There was a lot of chatter and people apologizing and stepping back on what they thought was a prophecy from the Lord, or they misconstrued it, what they thought the Lord told them. So
Yeah. I think God took everybody for an okie doke. It's like, oh, I feel like a lot of stuff, like I don't care if it's like preachers, prophets, like believers, non-believers, I think everybody kind of got exposed on some stuff a little bit. Like I look at it like you do have a lot of pastors that are prophets who say like, hey, Trump's president, and it's like they held on till to that inauguration, and it just didn't happen. And I think like a lot of them are shocked, and I think like I just want to tell them like it's okay, like so what? Just move on, like, and you know what I'm saying? Like it don't, like I don't think Trump was a savior. Like I don't think that was his thing. Like I think he came in, did what he was supposed to do. He exposed America for what it is. People got to see it. A lot of people came together. A lot of people, were hurt and suffered and stuff like that. But it's like it was bad, but I think it brought a lot of good. Like a lot of people, just came together and like started like uniting with each other. I think a lot of, if anything, I think also a lot of the church got exposed. So that's how I see it. Got to see a lot of hearts of leaders, where their hearts really were, but that's how I see it. Like, you know, I think Trump, he probably could have been president. You know, people say, hey, they cheated. They probably could have cheated. Who knows who cheated? Who knows who did what? I don't have the evidence. I didn't see it, but God is still sovereign. So whoever he would have to be in office, that's who's in office. And it's like that could be a statement on God's behalf, or that could be who knows. That's how I see it.
I don't want to cut you off, Mr. Rayshawn. I'll give you a chance before I even say something. What you got? What you got?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Hey, I'm still focused. Still focused. Like let's advance the kingdom. Let's get back to the Great Commission. It's just like when losing the championship, kind of. He lost it. All right, let's prepare for next year. Let's keep going. It's all right, you know. So, yeah, I ain't tripping. You know. So that's it.
Yeah, like it ain't nothing to trip about, right? Like, yo, it's like you say, like, yo, life's still going on right now. You know, God ain't stopped the earth from spinning. He ain't blocked the sun out. Ain't gonna go into that. But yeah, like I think like we as a Christian and everything, we need to regroup and think about like, yo, how much hatred did I let get in my heart? Or if any, did any hatred that say Donald Trump didn't win or whatever the case is, that's what you was just hanging your faith on. Like, yo, did any hatred get into your heart? Do you like not like people? Did you unfriend people? Did you block people? Like, like just do some self-examination and being like, man, like how can I love people better? You know, not saying like, yo, you know, because the world is just in a crazy spot where it's kind of like anything goes, cancel culture is king. But like, where are you at with like your heart and your relationship with God, and how are you moving forward in loving people of all walks, ideologies, perspectives? Like, yo, how are you like planning on like being that light to everybody else? You know, regardless of who's president.
Yeah.
Regardless, I feel like, you know, I don't think times are gonna get brighter. So it's like the darker it get, the brighter you gotta shine at this point. So I think, you know, right now is just a good season for a heart check to just see where your heart's at.
Well, that was well said, troublemaker. Well,
See this?
let me sprinkle a little something in, because you know, actually, I've observed some prophets that are still maintaining what they have said. Well, not what they have believed God has said to them. I have seen that. Now I've also seen the ones that are shunning them and the ones that are calling people out because of the inauguration. Might as well put it that way. But yeah, I do see some that are maintaining what they say. Now, here was my thing. Here's my thing when it came to our inauguration day. Like, I didn't want to think. I guess my whole thing was, I was like, you know, I know it can kind of go either way, and I know what the prophecies say. I'm keeping in my mind that it can go either way, just because I'm like, all right, either God's going to extend more grace or he's not, you know what I mean? Maybe this is time for chastisement, you know, so perhaps, you know. And then I also know the whole thing about, hey, prophecies can change depending on what we do. You know, are we receiving the message? Are we repenting? Are we doing any of those things? Then perhaps the prophet would change, or prophecy would change in that aspect. But my other thought was like, you know, I just don't see God, and then maybe I don't know, maybe this is me and my interpretation of everything, but I just was like, if God has so many prophets speaking this, like I don't see him allowing that to, even with the inauguration, I know the inauguration happened, okay? But I'm saying on that day of, before it happened, in my mind, I was thinking, I don't see him allowing his prophets to look like fools, especially at a time where, not say everything was kind of hinging on it, but kind of, you know, I know because you were just talking about people that are giving up on the faith and everything like that. It's just one of those things that makes people doubt their faith, you know. And so I just was like, I mean, in my mind that day, I just kind of like, I think based on that and based on what it says about like truth, things coming to the light and all that, I was like, you know, I don't see it not going. Now, obviously, there was an inauguration and all that good stuff and everything like that. And I didn't see any, you know, things that I was looking for. Like, I was looking for some justice and stuff in regards to this human trafficking stuff that's going on and all that. Personally, is what my mom was kind of looking at and everything. But yeah, that's kind of how I looked at Inauguration Day. Now, again, I know there's still, well, first of all, wasn't that same week that everybody started getting censored? Like, conservative voices were getting censored that same week, right? Or was it that same day or that same, like the day after? Next thing we know, Parler. Yeah, no. What's the name of that place? Parler. Yeah. Parler went down.
Oh yeah, Parler. Yeah.
Parler was taken down. The president's Twitter was censored. You know, Linwood taken off. Sidney Powell taken out. Like all these voices in the conservative movement. You know, and so how y'all feel about that?
About them silencing or banning.
Yeah.
I'll let one of y'all go first.
No, y'all don't feel nothing about it.
I feel like the media, and I think we're some of the main people. A lot of people don't like reading in this day and age. A lot of people only read headlines. They don't look at the whole clip. They don't look for the actual facts. So, and the media likes to play these type of games. I think it was wrong for them to censor a sitting president. I just think that's wrong. But to go all out the way like they did, like they even had it to where he basically almost couldn't even Uber. So I just think that was a bit extreme. And I just, when Facebook and stuff, because I know y'all know, I follow a lot of pastors and things of that nature. They're always censoring them when they're speaking on certain things. So I think somebody would only go to that extreme to censor someone when it's the truth. You know what I mean? And for them to do like Trump, the way that they did, and, I don't even blame him for not being there for Inauguration Day. And I wasn't there, but a lot of people were saying, this is what it said, allegedly, I do not know. But people who stay in DC were saying that it was gloomy that day, so it did not even seem that, a lot of people believe that it was pre-recorded, basically, the inauguration. A lot of people have reported also glitches and things of that nature, so you can also look that on YouTube. And they also, the media tried to get ahead of, they showed Joe Biden in the presidential office, and it didn't look nothing like, it actually had a parking lot on the outside of the window. So it was basically not the office. So basically that's what, they were saying. It was all staged. So the media tried to get before them and say, oh, what did they say? They made up some type of excuse. I can't think off the top of my head, stating why he wasn't in the office or something of that nature, or they did something to the background or whatever. But basically they're saying it was all staged. Now, like you said, I heard the same thing as you, Miracle. There are a lot of prophets that are still holding on, saying something up until March what date? I'm not sure. I believe, I don't know the exact date. Yeah, March 4th. Yeah, exactly. So they're saying up until March 4th that, Trump has to go to court for these things, and they're taking their slow behind basically on giving him the justice that he deserved. So, I'm, there's nothing I can do personally, but I'm going to stand and believe God's word. and like Neil said, God is still God. So no matter who's the president or who represents us, in America, we're still children of the Most High. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I was just gonna say, so I don't know too much about. I haven't like dug deep into that. I would hear, I heard about it, and what I try to do is play the neutral ground, try to understand both sides as much as I can, as much as I can, and I mean, I don't know. It's just so messy, so sloppy. It's just so hard to keep up with, and it's definitely kind of, I would say kind of scary, but it's like you definitely see the direction of where this nation is going, and I definitely see where freedom of speech basically will become a thing in the past, and so yeah, that's I mean, it's unfortunate, right? But I did want to talk on something that you said. I think you said that it's kind of hard to see why like God would allow for his prophets, or may you repeat that so I
Mm-hmm.
you
I just was saying to myself that I didn't think that God would allow his prophets to, look like fools, whatever, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Saying something that wasn't going to come to pass.
That would make God a liar.
Right.
But I think it's possible that God will allow for us to look like fools based on our obedience or disobedience. Because, we got to remember that God chastises those he loves. You go to John 15, he prunes, right? In humility, sometimes we need to be humbled, right? If you go to Deuteronomy 28, he says, of course, he's talking to the nation of Israel. And my point of bringing this up is, we can go to the Old Testament to kind of see how God does things, and he's the guy who doesn't change, right? So Deuteronomy 28, if you go to verse 1, he says, if you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations. All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God. And he goes on to say all the benefits if you obey, right? And then he says, however, in verse 15, however, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow all his command and decrees I'm giving you today, all these curses will come on you and overtake you. And I want to go down, verse 20, he says, the Lord, now this is the nation of Israel, a nation chosen out of all of the pagan nations. And so they represent God, the true and living God, out of all the pagan people. But verse 20 says, the Lord will send you on curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of evil you have done and forsaken him. So that's one thing. Verse 25, he says, the Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven. You will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms of earth on the earth. And so like, we could just like form just better theology when we like look through the Old Testament and see like how God dealt with the nation of Israel, how God deals with us individually. Like God humbles me, you know what I'm saying, allows for humility and shame if I disobey or go against what he said. So just think about the church. All eyes are on the church. And so I definitely think it's possible for God to allow for us to be a mockery. To be mocked. And it's unfortunate, but God is in the healing process. This is a reason why God would allow something like this to happen. And so, so I just wanted to touch on that, and like something that I heard, based on these prophecies, right, is we just think of prophecy in one way. We think Old Testament, we think the book, we think Isaiah and all of the great prophets. And I was looking at something today, and was on YouTube, and it was saying basically like this could have been a conditional prophecy. Like if Donald Trump would have humbled himself, if he would have humbled himself, and you know, I guess got closer to God, then he could have been he could have still been president. Or if the church no, this was a and, not a or. So if Donald Trump would have humbled himself, and if the church wouldn't put Donald Trump on this pedestal, then you know, Donald Trump would have still been in office. So this guy was just, you know, making a stance that this is a more so a conditional prophecy rather than, oh, this is going to happen no matter what. So I just wanted to kind of like, you know, share those two points.
Yeah.
Do y'all
Yeah,
believe? I was just asking Rashawn, do he believe that some people took the prophecy from other people?
Possibly. I think it was just a mixture. I think it was a hodgepodge. I believe some people were in their feelings. You know, they just wanted Trump so bad to win because they were looking at the morality. And you know, it was just a wave in certain groups in Christianity and here in America to say, oh yeah, Trump is the man. And so when I seen the people that I was close to saying, yeah, we vote for Trump, I felt like it was like a unity type of thing, almost like, yeah, like this is who we rocking with, you know what I'm saying, because of X, Y, and Z. So I think it was a mixture. I believe some people probably did hear something. Some people probably just really wanted it to happen. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I do have a question. After if Neil, after you say whatever you got.
You just said, yo, I know he got something. No, I mean, I'm cool, man. I'm just listening. Yeah, no, I agree with you on, like, you know, some prophecies are conditional. Like, you know, like, I do believe, like, if Trump would have, like, actually humbled himself and did what was right, I think he probably still be in office. It was like I think he got so many chances. It's like at some point it's like, guy, you're a complete idiot. Like, you just can't help yourself. And you know, it's like, yo, now he's out. You know, but I do believe that. I think it was like, hey, if you do this, this is gonna happen. And I don't think. I think like the people who probably look like fools are the people who put Trump on a pedestal as if he was a righteous person. I think those are the people who probably like feel some type of way. But other than that, like, my thing is like always, it's a U.S. president. Like they're gonna do some evil stuff, or they probably did some evil stuff to become president. It's just part of the American way. Like, you know, as bad as that probably sounds, you know, I'm just saying. That's all I got to say.
Do you think, Denise, that people heard it from others?
I think they do that. I think people copy people on any and everything. But I do not believe that they should have. If God told you something, whether it was conditional or not, or whether the prophecy changed, if God told you something, I personally wouldn't apologize. I've always been an I said what I said type person. And I definitely, if I know for sure God told me something, if I was a prophet, that's just what it is. That's what it is. This was going to be, and that's what I believe. And you just would have to catch me on the flip side. But I wouldn't apologize. I'm sorry, not me. But
I feel you on that.
Yeah, that's how we have to be when God says something. You know, you have to stand on his word. You have to believe it. If he instructs you to say it or do it, whatever, you know, you have to be obedient and do it. So, but yeah, I do believe people copy and imitate everything, and it's definitely a lot of false, you know, people that has called themselves. And as you stated, a lot of people are being exposed And, you know, during this time, a lot of people are, you know, I even stopped following a lot of people because you could just clearly see, you know, the Holy Spirit isn't, you know, there. So, yeah.
So none of you all think that he actually won. None of you all believe that he won and didn't.
It's beyond me, honestly. Like I can't even.
I can't even put my brain around it. I can't grasp it.
Yeah.
It's like he
Yeah.
could. I don't know.
I look at it like this: like even if he won the popular vote, if the Electoral College didn't want him, he still lost. I mean, I think the same thing happened to Hillary. She won the popular vote, they say, and she lost the Electoral College. So, you know.
But in that case, I was glad. I did not want Hillary.
Yo, I didn't either. Like I thought it was all a joke. I was like, Trump running for president? I was like,
Me
this gotta
too.
be a gimmick.
Me too.
Like, wait, Trump is president? What? I was like, nah, but yeah, I feel like it's, you know, I honestly, like, yo, when Trump was running against Hillary, I was like, you either getting King Nero or you getting Jezebel. Now I feel like it's either Ahab or Jezebel, or you got them both now. I feel like you're still getting the Jezebel. I know that probably sounds so bad, but I don't know Kamala Harris. Whatever. But to me, I just look at symbolism and I just see stuff, and I'm like, to me, Joe Biden, like, a part of me feel like, yo, he's not gonna make it through the term. I don't know. I mean, I could be, you know, wrong, whatever, but I feel like, yo, this guy is like, he's probably not gonna make it, or something's gonna happen, and Kamala Harris is gonna be president, and she just doesn't. It's just something about her. I'll be looking at her, I'll be like, yo, can anybody tell she lying? Like, she don't even do it well. Like, she just like.
They had me.
But anyway.
With these Chucks and pearls. I wish I would be in some Chucks and pearls.
So what is the Chucks and Pearls about? Like, I've seen it. I think I've seen it.
You know, we got to be a part of something. Oh, she's an AKA. She went to a HBCU. So they got, you know, the pearls. They had pictures going with the pink and green on the White House. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it was, I guess, to celebrate history. I have no problem celebrating history, but, you know, we tend to, like Rashawn was saying, we tend to put people on this pedestal, and, you know, we don't even give Jesus that type of reverence, or we don't even do that for God. So, yeah, but I definitely wasn't about to be in no Chucks and Pearls, no.
She was in Chucks and Pearls for the inauguration.
Yeah, for Kamala, they were. It was a, you know, they were saying that she's black, which I don't believe she's black, but, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Well, technically, she is black.
I don't believe.
You know, I'm just, and I say it like this, like being black is like, it's a, I don't want to say a misnomer. That might be the right. Being like, people in Africa are black, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you're,
are you talking skin complexion or nationality?
Like, I say race, because at the end of the day, being black is a race, being white is a race, and there are really only two races, right?
Her birth certificate says something else besides black.
Yeah, but this is my thing though. It's like, yo, being black means nothing. It's being black means, hey, look, you get to get placed over here in the corner. That's what being black means. So to me, the simple fact that she has Jamaican ancestry and Indian ancestry, if you got anything that's non-white, like Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you see him walking down the street, like, oh, who's that black guy? Until you hear him talk and be like, oh, you're Jamaican. Like, I think, quote unquote, black people in America got this thing where if you're black if you're American. And I think, like, that's a lie that we've
No, her
accepted.
dad's from India. And
Her-
I believe he was born in Jamaica, but he's not Jamaican. So that's like someone white being born in Africa. So now they're African. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, I heard he's Jamaican. That's what that's where my research led me. He was a Jamaican. His family owned slaves. Her mother.
Family-owned slaves. That's
Yeah, but to me, it's like it's still you're black. She's just not African. I like to say, like, to me, this is how it distinguishes.
His daddy was a black man that owned slaves in Jamaica.
That's where I'm saying. I'm not her actual. I think like her dad's lineage, not her actual dad. But like, I like to distinguish African American. Like, yo, that's people who are descendants of slaves or enslaved Africans. But if you come here and you're dark skin, whatever the case may be, and if you're not a dark skinned Indian person, more than likely they're gonna say you're black until they find out, like, oh, they're Haitian, oh, they're Jamaican. Like, a Haitian and a Jamaican, they have a nationality. Like, but if you're black in America, you don't have a nationality. You're just black. That's how I see it. To me, that's how America tells it.
Mhm.
That's why, like, if you're a white, quote unquote, white American, you could be Italian, or you could be Irish. But if you be like, hey, if you're American though, you're white. You have to denounce your nationality in America. So in order for them to do that, that makes white people at the hierarchy, and that puts black people at the bottom, and everybody else is in between. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hispanic is not a race.
Something in Cali, it was the first Indian woman. It wasn't black, and she stated that she wasn't black. So
she played a card. Like, I think she plays the card,
sure, yeah.
whichever way is gonna work for her. Like, yo, in 1 minute she's saying, "Oh, I never smoked weed." Next minute, yo, I was smoking weed, listening to Tupac. It's like, oh, really? Like, make up your mind. But it's like,
I never heard her say she was black. I only heard black people say she was black. That's why I was a bit confused.
yeah, but like, it's kind of like what you just, like, black people will say she's black because black people want social acceptance. We want to be like, ooh, look at us, we're here, see us. We don't even want anything for our vote. We just want the popularity to be like, we got her in office. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we're gonna claim her. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Barack Obama is not African American, but he's black though, because he got a black dad. You know what I'm saying? But his mom is white, his dad is from Africa, but he's not like a descendant of formerly enslaved Africans. You know what I'm saying? But he gets to be labeled black, and black people, we just love seeing a black face regardless of what's going on. Like,
but he said out his own mouth that he was Kamala. I never heard. But if you guys find it, be sure to send it to me.
But what you're saying, Neil, about like black people in America, we want to see people that look like us in a high position, because in a lot of circles, you go to a lot of black conscious circles, or the five percenters, like, is black supremacy. Like, they push this black supremacy, right? Yeah. And it's something that to back up what you're saying, like, I watched the interview between Kanye West and Nick Cannon. Kanye West, he's just unapologetic. He's unashamed for Jesus, and so he has his views. And Nick Cannon was basically saying, like, so you're not for Kamala, she I'm quoting right now, this is for the culture. And Kanye West was like, for the culture, man, I do this for Christ, boy. And so, like, what Nick Cannon just said, like, kind of like, just it represents a lot of black people here in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even know what the woman stand for, what she didn't, it's kind of hard for me to say what she did in her past, because, like, in Christ, we don't really hold people's past against them. At least I try not to, but, in politics, that's what they do. So in the non-Christian, that's what they do. So it's like, they don't know what she did to black Americans. And it's unfortunate. It's sad, because we do base our vote, a lot of us anyway, do base our votes on color. And that's I mean, that's a form of racism, right? Like, it's like if a white person were to do that, we would be protesting like, no, you know, we'll hate the idea that, oh, you're voting for him because he's white. Well, we vote for an individual because they're black, or they're the vice president who happens to be a black woman. So yeah. So I feel you on that.
But you just said a mouthful with the whole culture verse, you know, doing something for Christ. And I think that's where a lot of us, we get so confused on. Even at one point I was like that, but I've been talking to a few people, and one person in particular told me that they don't care about, you know, it basically, you know, on the scale of things for Christ, as far as abortion and, you know, LGBTQ and things of that nature, because they stated that they just wanted to get Donald Trump out because of the racism. So I just had questions, because I don't recall Trump he was letting blacks go up until the day that he left. He got Kodak Black and Lil Wayne to leave, you know, so he was releasing blacks, but I've never seen him put a law in place where, you know, millions of blacks was going to jail. But Biden specifically had put laws in place to put blacks in jail, and Kamala was, you know, upholding those laws. So it was just like, you know, how are you fighting racism? But it just didn't make sense to me. But they broke it down to me and stated that they don't care about any of that, because Trump basically put a letter in about the five boys and the rape charge. They brought that up when he was a citizen. And also that they're mad about the Capitol situation, which the media, I believe, amped that up. So they don't care, quote unquote, about anything dealing with the LGBTQ or any of that, because gay people are going to be gay people, they stated. And also that, you know, that if people want to abort their babies, they're going to do it regardless. So they said they don't care about any of that. They just care about the racism. So the racism, like you saying, Rashawn, go hand in hand with the whole culture thing, and us thinking as a group. You know, if anybody think outside of the group, you're normally labeled, you know, you're looked at as weird or you know, something. Yeah, sell out. Cool. Yeah. All of that.
That's amazing, because at the end of the day, well, the thing is, people are not going to care until it hits home, and that's the thing. It's too late. When it done hit you, it's too late. They're like, so I mean, perhaps that's what people need, you know. But for me, listening to the different policies and stuff, and that's why I would say, you know, even recently, I just was like, you know, I basically I was speaking to someone about it, and I was talking to a on a podcast, and it just was the same thing that you were saying, and I just was like, you know, hey, we got to just pay attention to what people are doing, you know, what policies they put together, and like what laws they're making and all this stuff. I mean, at this point, you know, people are like, we might as well kiss away girl sports at this point, you know. There's a lot that's been done in this few days that, you know, a week or whatever. So I mean, I don't know what, so y'all, so none of y'all don't listen to Lynn Wood or nothing like that. Y'all don't know nothing about none of that stuff, man, huh?
I never heard of Lynn Wood. I don't think to the night.
Well, I mean, he's one of those voices that got silenced one. Like, he's been dropping a lot of bombs and stuff. He's on Telegram now. So
Telegram.
Yeah.
Is that a new app?
It's something else.
Old, right?
It's been out for a while. I mean, I've been on Telegram for a while, but yeah. Well, I'll have to send y'all some links and stuff. I mean, you know, if y'all want to.
Which bombs you're talking about? Because I'm sure I'd have heard them.
I mean, you know, one, he's been dropping stuff about like the pedophilia. He's been saying about things about people in hot places doing these shady things to get there. Pretty much, I mean, well, with the whole censorship aspect, talking about all of that, as well as the fraud and stuff like that, that's hidden power fighting stuff, which no one wants to acknowledge. But I mean, all of this stuff she has a whole website with all of the information that describes all the fraud, as well as, I mean, Trump described it in every speech and stuff that he's done. I mean, so But and then, okay, has everybody on this seen that video of the ballots being pulled from under tables and stuff?
Yeah.
I heard about it. I didn't see it though.
Yeah. I mean, just I don't know, but I mean, but like you say, people can show people all the evidence and still they don't care. They just want him out. And at the end of the day, I mean, I guess that's all great, you know, for you if you feel that way. No offense, whatever. That's your belief. You do that. I'm just saying, as a mom, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, as somebody that's just looking at the situation for what it is, it's just like, so we're not paying attention to what's going on. We're not paying attention to policies that are being in place. You know, our kids are being indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things are on the table right now and none of y'all care. But then when your rights have been taken away, like we see censorship already happening. Like they're pretty much making it where parents' rights are being taken away. Your child can go and decide to do whatever they want to do. And if you disagree, they're probably gonna, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but I guess until it hits home, if no one cares. They just want to Trump out.
Yeah, and that's sad. Yeah.
You know what? Another thing I was telling you, they also stated about black boys being shot and killed. That's what their concern was, and their concern also was that Trump was, you know, rallying up the KKKs. I'm like, the KKKs was there when Obama was in office. How many black boys died while Obama was in office? You know, like
KKK. Somebody said something like, "Yo, there was like all those white people marched through Chocolate City, and they went straight to the Capitol." It was like if they really, and this is my thing, like, yo, black people cannot survive a race war. If white people wanted to just commit this race war and they stockpiling weapons and all that for black people, it's like they're well over prepared. It's like, because black people, we not very resourceful. We don't have a lot of guns. We don't really survive in the woods like that. We ain't out there hunting. And it's like, yo, if you want to talk about police brutality, Biden kind of like laid that foundation. Like, that's a whole nother issue right there. Like, he helped create the condition for black people to get killed by cops and cops to have police immunity. And he actually said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. I'm like, but it's like, yo, it's cool to be insulted. You know what I'm saying? So, and my thing is like this, yo, you could talk about racism all you want, but you do not want to stop black people from killing black people, and you do not want to have that conversation. You don't want to talk about the music. You don't want to talk about the preschool to prison pipeline. You don't want to talk about none of that. You don't want to talk about abortion, how many millions of babies have been aborted. Like, you don't want to talk about that. But at any time, it's like my man was telling me, he said, yo, black people don't care about murder, death, none of that. All they care about is who doing it. Because if a white person doing it, all of a sudden it's a problem. But your man down the street can get his head blown out. Yo, I ain't snitching though. Or you turn the blind eye, or it's like, yo, he shouldn't have been out there. You know what I'm saying? I know more black people that have been killed by black people than I know people that's been killed by cops, white cops. I even know people who were like harassed and died in custody of black cops. So it's like, you can argue about, oh, Trump is racist. Like, who cares? Trump racist, Biden racist. It's America. It's racist. The fact that you call yourself black and you adhere to that, you're racist too, because you're conceding to racism. You're removing your whole identity and who you are just to be black. And being black in America is you're at the bottom of the totem pole. But that's just my opinion on it, you know. So I agree with what y'all saying though. And it's like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's like, it's Christ over culture. Like, and people cannot define, yo, I'm doing it for the culture. Like, just be honest. That just sounds really cool. Like, we good at coming up with cool stuff, but we can't define our culture, and we can't even control or monetize our culture the way it needs to be. So how you sitting back saying, yo, I'm doing something for the culture, but it's like, you don't even run your own culture. You just make stuff look cool. They take it from you, bottle it up, and sell it right back to you, and you buy it.
Rashawn,
Like, what kind of culture is that?
Rashawn and I was just talking about Clubhouse, and I seen something where Master P said,
Oh yeah.
Another one of them a billionaire.
Yeah,
Clubhouse, black people on there, what, 75-80%?
yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of black people.
Wow.
You just spoke
I heard
a
that
mouthful.
too.
And please stop calling Joe Biden Uncle Joe. Just don't do it.
Yo, for real.
I ain't heard
He is
that.
not
Wait a
family.
Who
He
doing
ain't
that?
getting invited to the barbecue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I hate that. Y'all call that dude Uncle Joe. They did
Man,
the same
I
thing with Bill Clinton though.
It just
Like,
don't make
he smoked weed and got head and played the saxophone. All of a sudden, he black now. Like, that's all it takes. And you know what? He turned around and bought all of Harlem and kicked y'all out. Like, but come on, yo. Like,
Our standards are too low. I mean, too shallow. I mean, you know, and I mean, I don't like to say all of us, but the majority of the majority that I've met, our standards are too low, too shallow. I mean, we don't do critical thinking. I mean, it's just easily manipulated because we run off of emotions. Like, man, they could just trigger, like, I mean, Joe Biden and the Democrat or the liberal, like, they just mess with your emotions and they get you riled up and say, and it's like that. I mean, it's very, very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, because I believe there is some trauma there, being descendants of slaves and bitterness and stuff like that, right? And it's like, you know, they can use that they use our emotions against, you know, I mean, they take advantage of that. They take advantage of, using it against us. They take advantage of that round voting, you know, they say progression and, you know, blacks, we look at, progress. Oh, we can be the upper, or we can, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all the politics, boy. Boy, it's that, you know.
Yep.
And but I mean, fortunately, there are some groups even outside of, I guess, the more conservative black Christians who, you know, I've been on Clubhouse, and, you know, they are thinking the same way we're thinking. They're like, no, we're the liberals, the Democrat isn't for black people. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. You know, they're kind of like understanding, like, you know, we need to take, you know, be more resourceful, more investing, small businesses and stuff like that, and stop looking at a politician and so yeah, so that's some light I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's because you got, like, we're black, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we could talk about Christianity from a black perspective, but it's like when you look at the censorship, when you look at everything that's going on, but you look to the church, and it's like all the church really does is whatever the world is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like why like talk about censorship? Why not just build your own Facebook? You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, if the church can't unify, how can we expect anybody else to? Like, the church has so much money. Like, they done got millions upon millions of dollars. And it's like, wait, y'all don't even think to build a social media platform? Y'all don't think to, like, just build some hub for whatever reason? Y'all just want to sit back and watch CNN? Like, y'all don't think to start our own news network? You know what I'm saying? I know you got CBN and all that stuff, but, like, come on, yo. Like, we know that's really not hitting on nothing. Like, it's not. Like, and you know, like, all the money the church has. Like, you can't have a central Christian church something to where it's like, hey, look, you just bring a group of leaders and be like, look, this what we see, this what we need. All right, so let's do this, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's start this media company. All right, let's quit crying about Hollywood and their agenda and whatever Hollywood's doing. Why not just build film studio? You got the money, you got the resources, you got the manpower, but you don't want to do that because it's like, yo, you're really like the world. So now here we are complaining about politics. You know what I'm saying? Not saying us, but just like, the church in general, like, oh, let's pray for a good leader. Like, y'all want separation. Like, I don't know. It's just too much. I feel like it just be cowering behind the church walls. And now COVID got y'all churches looking useless. You got those buildings and you can't do nothing with them. And now the money ain't coming in. Because the money ain't coming in, now it's really seeing like, yo, what use were you? Because at the end of the day, like, anybody can go on Facebook, YouTube, and just preach. Anybody can do it. Now the market is saturated and there's so many voices out there on the airwaves. And Satan probably looking back like, yo, got him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who do you believe? Who do you trust? People like love CNN. Like, they watch CNN and say, oh, CNN is like, that's for the progressive. Fox News is for the so-called racist or conservative people. I'm like, yo, aren't they both racist? Like, aren't you always looking at white people? Like, if it's about competition, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, why is the NBA predominantly black? If it's a fair playing field. Like, why is it that all the movies, everybody gotta be white, all the news networks, all the anchors gotta be white, and you just throw in a few black ones here and there, or a few Asians, or a few Hispanics? But I'm just saying, like, my thing is, like, yo, if the church can't unite and get together on one accord on politics, like, how can we look at the world and expect anything different? That's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
To piggyback off you, Neil, I was saying the inauguration. I don't know if you guys watched it, but as a Christian, as a person that has the spirit of discernment and Holy Spirit, you got one of the highest top ranking witches on the inauguration, Lady Gaga. And you're a Christian, but you're celebrating with the witches. You know what I mean? And it is more than Lady Gaga. I don't know if y'all paying attention. But the witches and all of those people are celebrating Joe Biden being in office. So if that right there doesn't tell you, you know what I mean, that something is going on. Your spirit of discernment, your Holy Spirit, something's not alerting you that something is going on. And you could feel it in your spirit, the shift when Biden got into office. If that doesn't tell you something that you're celebrating with the witches, I don't know what will. You know what I mean? Wow. Lady Gaga, them, and more than her. I don't know if y'all been, like I said, all of them are celebrating. They was even going as far as doing, excuse my son, they was even going as far as doing all kind of seances and stuff around about Trump, praying against Trump. And that's why a lot of the people, the prophets and things like that was calling for prayer for Trump. So, but I'm just saying, if there's ever a day of you as a Christian that you are in agreement with witches, oh, sorry, my son cutting off.
It's okay. I mean, I guess I can keep going for you, sis. Like, tag team. Now, yeah, I agree with what all of you all have said. I guess going back to that statement that you were saying, Neil, about like, oh goodness, now I just went right from my head. I think it was like about knowing. Lost it. It's gone. Anyway, well.
Oh yeah, I could throw something in while you get your thoughts together, if that's okay. Yeah, the whole I seen the black minister guy. He said something about in our collective faith, and this is a Christian guy. I assume. I don't know why he said in our collective faith. I have an idea. I don't know if he was pressured. I don't know. But what I heard was that denomination of Christianity, they kind of like, fold to the whole, gay marriage and they marry gay couples, and they basically bow to the culture basically. And I didn't watch the inauguration. I just heard from some people, and I looked it up, and I was like, wow, like, yeah, this definitely, like, I mean, this is a new, I'm not about to say a new world order, but this is a new time. Like, this is a new time. We don't live in the early 2000s. This is new. This is, I mean, in America, pretty much opened itself up for this, because if you think about, the people came over here for religious freedom, so they didn't come over here to make this land a Christian land, I don't think, but to flee. They wanted to come over here to make it, they wanted to express their faith openly, and it was just predominantly white people and black people. That was it. But now everybody flocking to America. You got different ideologies and stuff like that. Now the government is, bowing to these different gods, and so I understand why the government is bowing down, because it's not predominantly, or it's not just Christianity anymore. There's a lot of Muslims over here. It's a lot of it's a lot of Hinduism and Buddhist faith, mysticism and all of that stuff like that. So when he said that, for a Christian minister to say that, it's like, okay, it's that time, it's that time for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even with you saying that, it's like, so everything but Christianity. You know what I mean? It's like, tolerance for everything but Christianity. That's what I'm saying. And like that brought back what I was saying earlier to Neil, where he said, like, we as Christians aren't united. Like I said, the more I read the Bible and the more I'm reading things it says, I'm like, we don't believe what it says, or we just don't care, because there's no way we could come to so many different conclusions with, like, I mean, I know some things are left to interpretation in the Bible and stuff, but there's some things that's not. Some things is just really clear, so, we should be united. We should be, okay, we all believe this word, there's things that can be debated or whatever the case is, but we should, come together as believers, because as they say, every other group is coming together, and but we're not, and at the end of the day, that to our detriment, I believe. So yeah, it's like you said, an interesting time for sure. I was gonna say, I don't know where we go from here. I mean, again,
I'm going back to Africa.
Here's some. Oh, it is Africa.
Which country though? Which country?
I don't know. I hear Ghana taking folks back. Like,
we have dual citizenship, birthright.
Yeah, I need to go over there and hop on that. In case I need to hop on a plane or boat.
I need a sample first. Let me go over there and see how it is first. I might like it over here better.
Yeah.
What about the vaccination?
Say it again.
Oh,
what about the vaccination? What are y'all thoughts on that?
Oh man, that's it's a lot. It's a lot. Hey, this a lot right here, boy. I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, that's I ain't with that vaccine. I think it's like, I think that thing is just, as bad as this might sound. I think that vaccine is. It's sad how they rolling it out. Like, everybody is just a test dummy. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, it's so much stuff to go along with it. Like, what's in the vaccine? Like, does it really alter your DNA? Like, what? Why are people dying? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like, what's? And why are you pushing it so much if you think it's good? Like, why do you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like really force parents to get their kids vaccinated with, whichever vaccines they get as a kid. Some parents like, yo, look, yeah, my kid gotta get their shots. But now you got this vaccine out for COVID, and it's like, why you gotta force it on people? Why are people so apprehensive? Like, are we all conspiracy theorists that we don't want to take it? Or do we feel like, y'all trying to violate our rights by forcing it upon us when you don't even know it works? And why is it so much being pushed on the black community? You got all these celebrities. Hey, I'm going to get my shot, but I'm going to wait in line. I'm not going to jump the line. That's what Spike Lee said. I'm going to wait my turn. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let all my other black brothers and sisters get it first. I'm like, bro, like, you go ahead and get it. Like, why you telling people to get a vaccine anyway? Like, just like, and there's a whole new strain they're saying that's coming out. So not only, and then Dr. Fauci's like, oh, you get a little herd immunity. So you saying like if everybody get it, isn't that the same thing as just shutting down a whole country for about 3 weeks? Won't that like kill the virus in a sense or like slow it down? Oh, but no, let's get everybody the vaccine. That out of his mouth, he's saying like, well, we don't know if it's gonna protect you from catching it or basically stop you from giving it to someone. Like, which one is it? Like, and is that a vaccine then if it doesn't do either? Like, cause he was talking to Chris Cuomo, and he's like, it's gonna protect you from a lot of viruses, and he's like, but he didn't say it'll protect you from COVID-19. So I'm like, why take it? Like, if it's not gonna protect you. Like, if it's not just gonna like stop it in its tracks and it's just a hope, like why aren't y'all like keep telling people, yo, wash your hands? But you want everybody to wear their mask, but you don't want nobody to wash their hands. And you not emphasizing, hey, wash your mask too. Wash your hands, wash your mask. Like, you're not saying that. You're just saying, hey, just get the vaccine. Get the vaccine. Like, why you gotta push it? I think it's evil. As crazy as it might sound. I'm not saying vaccines are evil. I just think like, yo, what are y'all doing and what's up with this vaccine? Like, what is it about it that, because it's like, it's, I don't know. I could be wrong. Hey, I'm not going to take the vaccine.
I'm definitely not taking it.
But I'd rather just, I think they should tell people like, yo, boost your immune system. Like, I was reading, I think it was The Guardian or something. They were talking about like over in Switzerland or Norway or somewhere. They was like, yeah, high levels of vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. It was like that we noticed like the more we kind of like start giving those to patients, the more we saw like, hey, they were making it, like the cases got down because people were like taking care of their bodies better. But we don't want to talk about that aspect as if it's like, yo, our immune systems are different. You know what I'm saying? Some people got weakened immune systems. If you can be high risk, that means somebody can be low risk. Let's talk about how is it that they can be low risk when you could be high risk? Like, why is like they say younger people are at a lower risk, but older people are higher risk? And what does that have to do with the immune system? So why not like talk about your immune system's role in beating the virus? Like, period. Like, why not talk about that? But y'all want to talk about a vaccine. Yeah, just keep doing whatever you're doing. Just get a vaccine. We can go back to normal. It's like, nah. But I'm going to keep rambling, so I'm going to be quiet on that.
Well, y'all. I don't know what to say. I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see how all this stuff goes and plays out. Yeah. Any final words on Christians in Politics 3?
I do want to ask one question. It could be quick, but if those prophets, if those people who spoke and said Trump's going to be offered, does that automatically make them a false prophet?
Not at all. Not even close.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so. I think either it's conditional or it's still in play. That's what I think. Either that prophecy was conditional or it's going.
Your character is what makes you a false prophet. If you have bad character, this, that, and the third, and that's what makes you a false prophet. because a psychic or somebody doing tarot cards, they can tell you something about your future. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a gift. It's like it's a gift and it's a calling for some. Like some people, you have the gift for prophecy, then you have the office, the administration of prophecy. Like, so I think your character is what makes you, if you're like, you know, if you just got bad character, you out there stealing, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 cheating on your wife, like that would make you a false prophet. But in a sense, like not being 100% accurate or being off a little bit or seeing something you prophesied that God told you not come to pass, that doesn't make you a false prophet. I feel like I can say that like absolutely. I don't even want to say that's an opinion. I feel like that's a fact. Like, you know, because you only prophesy in part anyway. So you don't get the whole picture. And if God already wrote everything out, all your days are written, that means like he done seen everything anyway. So you're only prophesying what he showed you. You know what I'm saying? But if you decided like, hey, I'm gonna make up a prophecy and I'm gonna say God said something to me that I didn't say, to me that would go back to your character. That would kind of, you know, you could be lying about that, then that could make you false. But that's what I don't think they should. I don't think nobody should feel bad if they missed it. Like I just don't condemn yourself. Don't feel ashamed. Like, yo, man, that's on God. That's not on you. It's like, if anything, God put himself on the line, not you. That's how I'm learning to look at it. Like, if you prophesy and you miss it and you wholeheartedly did and said what you heard from God, that's on him. So all them souls that didn't obey or whatever the case is, that's between them and God. It has nothing to do with you at that point. That's how I see it, though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, well, one, I did hear that apparently there's a difference between the Old Testament and New Testament in regards to prophecies. But said, mine's going. It's late. It's late. I'm sorry. What did you just say, Neil? About
I was saying, well,
prophesying part
or a gift, calling.
Sorry, but yeah, I did. Like I said, heard about it being in part. And then, I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna ask y'all then, since we keeping this conversation going.
She waits till it's 3 minutes on the clock. She's like, oh, one more thing. No.
I know what I was gonna say now.
I did. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to ask that question. I don't know. I was gonna say, I think he said there's different offices in the Old Testament. Like they held a higher office, or like it was different from New Testament prophets. Like, but I think that's what, I don't know if you was getting at that, but yeah, you go ahead to your next thought. I don't want you to forget your next thought.
Calling me out. Okay. Now, yeah. So how do y'all feel about others calling these prophets out in regards to being like, now, I couldn't allow myself to watch any of the videos because, like I said, I'm being cautious about what I'm taking in right now about like different stuff. But I did see where there were other, I guess you would say, ministers or whatever, calling out those ministers that, or those prophets that once inauguration day hit, it was like boom, the very next day, these people were wrong type of videos. I know at least 2 off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them, and I'm like, I try to play neutral on a lot of stuff, and this is one of those things. Like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, these guys are false prophets, and I'm not on the other extreme saying, oh yeah, they're prophets or whatever. I'm just neutral and saying, like, you know, because we don't know everything. Like, on both ends, we don't know. We like, and it's frustrating for me because sometimes I want to know everything. So you know what I'm saying? Like, but we just don't know. I can't call that person a false prophet. Like, cause I don't you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know. And then that's my brother. Like, that's my brother in Christ. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna just be waiting to throw his name under the bus or whatever. Like I get it wrong or something. I get it wrong in parenting. I get it wrong in a lot of my giftings. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think grace, empathy, those, we need to lead with those. But I understand they're trying to protect the image of the church, or they're, you know, I think that's where they're coming from. Is like, okay, y'all, we don't want to look a donkey out here. Like, simmer down. Like, you know, so I think that's their passion, is a representation of the church. I understand that. I get that. So I'm not so mad when people try to call out these people, but it's like, okay, yeah, we can communicate that we, y'all, you know, we want to represent the church well without throwing our brother or sister under the bus. Like, I think we could do both. Like, it's still grace, it's still mercy. Like, I don't think we should put grace to the side and mercy to the side once we and I could be wrong in this, but once somebody comes and says whatever what they think is from God, because it could be from God, it probably just didn't happen yet. Like, we, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where I'm at. I'm just neutral. Some of those people I do follow on YouTube who you know, which I haven't really heard, the ones that I follow, they didn't really come out and say, oh, they're false prophets like that, but they, you know, they'll say, oh, y'all missed it, you know. So I think they're trying to show some kind of grace, but I have heard, you know, oh, you guys are false prophets too, and I'm like, nah, I can't, I just can't say that, you know. Like, what about like my like I believed wrong last year about the things of God, you know, and it's like, and I taught that, but I don't consider myself like a false teacher or something. It's like, I know I'm going into deeper revelations of God, and you got to work out your giftings and practice your giftings, and so, I mean, but I do believe accountability is necessary though. Like, so that could be accountability that we're seeing, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm just neutral though, and I understand both sides. So,
yeah, I think that's kind of messed up. Like, it's one thing, like, yo, you just go inbox them.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? But you gonna make some videos and just put people on blast, be like, ooh, look at you. You been, like, that's just kind of, it's petty, it's immature. And it's like, I don't, you know, if it's one thing if, like, yo, if it's a prophet to a prophet, you know what I'm saying? I think, like, if you are a prophet, you're gonna be man or woman enough to go to that other prophet and let them know personally. You don't have to air them out on social media or whatever the case is. Because it's like, if you're real about it, like, you would understand the courage that it takes to prophesy, to say something that God said. Like, Noah is that example. Like, yo, the earth is gonna flood, and that dude's sitting there looking stupid. You know, like, that man was probably sweating bullets. Like, you want me to tell people it's gonna flood? We never seen rain before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine being in that position? So I think, like, the people who really got something to say are the people that probably ain't saying nothing. It's like, yo, it's easy to just be a commentator, spectator, and just talk about what other people doing. But, you know, I just think it's wrong. Like, it's just not cool. I feel like you should go to them personally. And if they don't want to, like, hear you out, like, to me, that's not protecting the church. That's making the church look like, yo, y'all petty too. Look at you. You talk about each other. Like, so what's the difference between you and me? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's cool. It's not cool
This
at all.
Bible, it tells us how to handle those type of situations.
Yeah, go to
But
your
again,
Oh, the Bible.
if you don't believe what it says, or maybe we
Yeah.
just don't care. Don't care about it.
Matthew 18.
I definitely think a lot of those people, they don't believe in prophecy anyway, as Neil was saying. They they've been looking, and it's a lot of jealousy and competition be going on inside a lot of that stuff as well. So people are just looking for I knew you were wrong, or I knew, anything to call someone a false prophet. So I definitely don't put my mouth on any of the prophets or any of God's anointed people. That's just a common practice of mine. And like Neil was saying, even if you see something, you just have to go to them. If you're in office or order to do that, then if God sends you to do that, then you have to do that. But we definitely have to be humble. And I'm not a prophet, but I understand what you were saying, Neil, about the courage of doing that. I couldn't imagine, but I would rather people look at me crazy than if I say something that God said and I know for a fact he said it. I would just rather them look at me crazy, because God is a God that cannot lie. But yeah, we definitely have to do things in order, as Neil was stating, and those people was looking to be those type of people. It's sad to say, but we shouldn't be coming against each other at all, being church folk. I mean, being the Church of God. So
there's no time to get my nails done. Oh, I know. I went to unwindselfcare.com and got my 100% nail polish strips. Thanks, Unwind Self-Care.
Well, folks, there you have it. There's an ongoing conversation, Christians and politics. We'll try to keep this whole thing going. I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the panel, for the discussion. And we look forward to the next one.